Okay, so I was saying that even if the property right is given to firms, and assuming individuals are rather causing the negative externality, the firm, because now the firm owns maybe the water body, he cannot charge the individuals, and that will internalize the externality. It will internalize the externality. All right. So let's look at this. The Gaussian solution to negative production externality. Okay, so now we are saying that assign property rights. So after assigning the property rights, we just charge a price that is exactly equal to the marginal damage that the production process is causing. So it's just like the first graphical analysis that we did. The firm would like to produce at point A, where the private marginal benefit is equal to private marginal cost 1. Okay. But now, because now the individuals own the let's say the water body, they will charge the firm the amount of marginal damage. Okay, so instead of you having a private marginal cost of 1, you have a private marginal cost what 2, and that will equal to the social marginal cost. We are saying it's equal to PMC2 because this new cost here is being paid for by the firm. Okay, so now in the eyes of the society, you are paying for your own costs of production, and you're also paying for the negative externality. And now you're producing at point B, and that should reduce the quantity that you produce. So if they're able to do this, if they are able to charge the price, which is exactly equal to the marginal damage, then they will be they'll be able to internalize the externality. But the problem is that how are they able to measure the marginal damage? Okay, how do you exactly get the marginal? Because if you charge anything lower than the marginal damage, then the negative externality will always be there. But then if you are able to do so, then this is going to be the effect. You totally internalize the negative externality. So this is how the cause theorem works. Now, these are some of the problems associated with the cause theorem. Okay, the first one is the assignment problem. Assignment problem. The theorem is based on the fact that you can assign property rights, but there are cases where the resource has common ownership. So we have a lot of people. How do you assign the property rights to all these people? Okay, so the theorem becomes a bit shaky when the externality is of a grand scale. Okay, but then if we are talking about a very small group of people, then the theorem can easily work. We wouldn't have this assignment issue there. Okay, we wouldn't do that. And then we have something called the holdout problem. We shared ownership, and we have a lot of people. Before we can actually sit down, bargain, and then get the optimum quantity, the social quantity that we have to produce, we all have to agree. Okay, we all have to agree. So assuming we have 10 people and 9 people are saying yes, if the 10th person says no, you can't do it. So it's like each person will have power over all the others. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, we are 10 people. We all have to agree first, and 9 people have agreed. And I said no. You have to wait for me to say yes. So if I continue saying no, it's like I am having power over the rest of the 9 people, which becomes an issue. So even if you know how to this one to the holdout problem, it becomes difficult. I mean, the problem becomes prevalent when we have a lot of people involved in the whole externality issue. So if you have 1,000 people, all the 1,000 people should agree first, and that's going to be an issue. Okay. So that is another issue. And then the free rider issue, what we saw on the public goods. This one too, maybe we are doing something, Okay, we are causing negative externality. You want us to sit down and negotiate. I know that even if I don't sit down and I don't negotiate, I can still do whatever I am doing. Okay, we all have to agree. Okay, like these 10 people, we all have to agree. So we sitting down to agree means that we will have to bear some of the cost. And if I don't want to bear the cost, I know that even if I don't agree, I will still go scot free. I won't agree. Then I mean, if we have to sit down, just work out and then we can't do anything. Okay. And then there's also transaction cost whenever you want to bargain. If you want to sit down and bargain concerning these things, it is never costless, as the theorem assumes. It assumes that bargaining should be costless, but it is not. Before assuming the thing is being affected by thousands of people, then bringing all these people together would definitely come with some cost. So these are some of the issues that the cost faces. All right. So about the cost theorem, the cost theorem is good. It is something that has proven to be useful. Okay. Now we are saying that because of externality, the market system fails to efficiently allocate resources. So we have market failure. But then the theorem is suggesting that even if we have market failure, we can use this bargaining and property assigning to internalize the externality. So if we're able to do so, then it solves the issue of market failure. Okay. But then we need to understand it really works for small scale issues. And then if the thing is being affected by a lot of people, the theorem doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. All right. What about the public sector? How does the public sector, the government also tries to internalize externalities? They set up environmental protection agencies to do this, to make sure that people are paying for the damage that they are causing. They can use price policy tax. We call it the Pigouvian tax. Okay, you see the production externality thing, the negative production externality. Now, because of the marginal damage, if the government wants to internalize this externality, it will charge a tax, the corrective tax, which is exactly equal to the marginal damage that the production process is causing. So the firm will have to bear the tax as a cost, and that will mean that the social marginal cost will increase, and that will reduce the production of that good. So this is one way of correcting a negative externality. If it's a positive one, they give subsidy. You see, under positive externalities, the firms will underproduce, but the society wants them to produce more. So when the government gives them subsidy, they're able to produce more. Okay, they're able to produce more. So that is one way. And then they can use quantity regulation. You just be forced to produce the quantity that the society wants. The government can just set rules that this is what you have to do. It's just like a command and control. They set administrative and then organizational measures that will try to control the quantities that the firms produce. And then the cap and trade. Okay, this one too is something that they use to regulate this environmental hazards. What they do is that they sell rights, okay, rights to maybe pollute the environment. So what the firms will do is that the government will sell these rights to them, and the quantity of pollutants that you can emit into the atmosphere will depend on the amount of rights that you bought. You can't emit more than that. So if you bought a right of, I don't know how they measure it, assuming it's 10 units, then you are not supposed to emit more than 10 units of whatever pollutant that you do. If maybe you feel like there's an expansion in your production process, so you want to emit more, you have to look out for producers that are that also bought this right, and they are willing to sell their own, then you buy it from them. You see, so I mean, from the society's point of view, there's not going to be an increase in the pollutant in the environment, but then there's a reduction in the pollutant being emitted by one firm, but there's an increase in the pollutant being emitted by another one. So by this, the government is able to regulate the quantity of negative externality, or the quantity of pollution that these firms cause to the society. Okay. So these are some of the ways that the government can also do that. This is the graphical analysis of the Pigouvian tax. This is the market equilibrium. It's just like what we know. Okay. So because of the marginal damage, the firm will charge a tax T, which is exactly equal to the marginal damage. So that's going to increase the person's private marginal cost to from PMC1 to PMC2, and that will be equal to the society's marginal cost. So here you wouldn't be able to produce the quantity that you used to produce, but the socially optimum quantity, that is what you have to. So that tax, if you see it anywhere, call it the Pigouvian tax. And this is for subsidies. When we have a positive production externality, this is the market equilibrium. So they will underproduce. But because the thing is producing benefits, I mean, people are getting more benefits. So you have to subsidize the production process for the firm so that it can produce more. So there will be a reduction in the cost that is borne by